We're gonna say hi, YouTube. I'm gonna keep doing the stall thing that makes Dutchie not want to, when it makes Dutchie have to scroll through. Tuna says hi, YouTube. Okay, hi, YouTube. Hi. Today we're gonna be watching I Did a Thing. I farmed crabs in my garage. Was it worth it? We're gonna jump straight in. I meant to watch this like 2 weeks ago, and when it came out, and didn't. So I'm excited. I heard it was a good one.
How you going? Now, I'm sure every single one of you watching has at some point thought about making or selling drugs. And I definitely have. A lot.
One for you. One
I'm gonna make and sell dried bamboo. I'm sure that's a drug somewhere, right?
for me.
My drug.
But it's illegal, which is why every other YouTuber out there has their boring legal side hustle. Mr. Beast sells crappy chocolates to kids. Logan Paul sells shitty drinks to kids. Dude Perfect.
Has anybody tried the Mr. Beast chocolate? Because I have not. I don't think it looks good. And I also haven't tried Prime. The energy drinks, right? Or is it a sports drink? I can't remember. I haven't tried either of them.
Sells clothes, probably made by kids, to kids. And Marcus Dribble. And I don't want to sell
Marcus Dribble needs to be locked up.
shit to kids. I want to sell to the most profitable market out there.
Dude's crazy for that one. I have. It's okay. It's too pricey.
Chinese men. Which is why today I'm going to try farming something else that grows right out of the dirt. Mud crabs. In a mud crab hotel in my garage and see how much money I can make selling them, and then compare it to growing drugs.
I want to know how this man just comes up with this. Was this like a viewer suggestion, or is this just something that spawned in his brain? And he was like, yeah, you know what? Fuck it. We ball. Prime as shit, to be honest. Okay.
Okay, now throughout this whole process, I'm going to be tracking all of it. How much money I spend on materials, the crabs, food for them, and how much time and effort it takes. Now, the first thing I'm going to need is crabs, which lucky for me, your mum already gave me, but I need bigger ones. And
Dude needs to leave my mom out of it, bro. My mom didn't give him crabs. She fucking don't start those allegations.
live right next to this muddy creek, which based on this sign, I'm guessing there's mud crabs around. And usually you would have to pay for bait, but I'm just going to use this fish I shot earlier. And that's the best thing about fishing. With every fish you catch, you also get a buy one, get one free crab. So after leaving the traps out into the night, I got these undersized crabs, which are perfect to grow in the hotel, but I'm not legally allowed to take them. And I'm looking for crabs that are barely legal, as the idea is that the young ones grow quicker. So at the moment at 500 grams, he's worth around $20, give or take market value and how hungry the buyer is. But they grow at an amazing rate, meaning this crab could more than double its size in 3 months. So the longer I keep them and feed them and resist eating them, the more money I make. So I kept putting crab traps out and bringing in crabs, and if I caught a fish, I put them back in the trap to catch more crabs. And so far this is looking pretty good. I kind of have a perpetual motion crab trap machine. But after 3 days of crabbing, I only caught 3 crabs. So I bought 7 more from the market. Now I just need somewhere to put them, which I probably should have figured out before my car was filled with crabs.
Ew. Dude, they're still fucking wet. Why are they on the car seat? They're still fucking wet.
But luckily I do have this fish tank lying around that Alexa and I bought when we wanted to make a Chinese restaurant. So now I just need to buy a bunch of separate drawers. And you're probably wondering, why do you need separate drawers for the crabs? Just chuck them all in the big tank you have. But here's the thing.
I'm gonna be so fucking honest. Those drawers are like tiny. That's not a crab hotel, that's a crab prison, bro.
About mud crabs. They are dickheads. And if left by themselves, they will commit every crime known to man on each other, including cannibalism, incest, genocide, and even grand theft auto. So I need to keep these creepy guys apart. The drawers also make giving them an even amount of food easier and makes cleaning the tanks easy. And I don't know if this is going to work, but I installed these tap things in each drawer that will make the water level equal in each of them and circulate all the water. Okay, and usually when setting up a tank, you need to spend months being an autistic fish nerd getting the right bacteria to grow in the tank, which will eat all the crab shit before you add your animals. But I reckon if I just steal a bunch of rocks and water from the river they came from, I won't have to do that, as the rocks are already covered in good bacteria. Also, stealing the water means I don't have to buy any salt or muck around with pH or anything.
Not a suspicious looking bag.
This still seems like not smart to do. It still seems like you probably have to do a little something extra to keep them alive, right?
Or a little.
But after talking about how smart I am for stealing rocks, I also added this biomedia and bacteria starter kit just because it can't hurt, which cost me around $100. And so far I've spent $100 on the filter, $40 on the drawers, $120 on the heaters, $250 on the crabs, $100 on these taxidermy Ninja Turtle frogs, and
Those are so creepy. Those are so creepy. Why would you want that?
The piping and stuff I stole from Bunnings, so I'm 610 in the hole, which when you compare that to buying a small grow house system, it's much cheaper so far. But I don't know if the system is going to work, and the idea is all the crab waste comes out through the bottom here into these sponges which catch all the big stuff. Then it goes through all this porous rock filled with good bacteria that eat all the piss and shit. Then it goes over the river rocks and gravel and back up here and just repeats, which doesn't work, as the water comes out of the pump a lot quicker than it can get out of these holes. And now the drawer is overfilling. So I just poked some holes in the pipe until the flow level went down, which was actually my plan all along, as it also aerates the water. Okay, I can finally get the crabs out of my car. And after almost losing a finger getting all 10 crabs into all the drawers, I remembered I need to take them all out again to weigh them. And the first guy came in very heavy at 1,077 grams, which is too fat. But the creek I got him from doesn't have a good return policy, so hopefully I can still make him gain weight. So the total weight of them is 8.25 kilos, with the biggest crab weighing 1,077 grams and the smallest being 605 grams. So my money is on the smallest guy gaining the most weight. Alright, let me tell you the specs of this baby. This right here is a water-cooled mud crab, tolerates between 19 and 29 degrees water. You can pay extra for the protection plan, which gives you metal calcium armor, meaning they are super hardy and come with a 6-month money-back guarantee. These babies will eat whatever you give them. Prawns, fish, carrots, their own poo, literally anything. And with this 10-core Deca system,
You just casually held like a fucking palm full of shit. I mean, it's probably realistically dirt, but brother.
I should be doubling my money in no time. What I've also kind of created by accident is the crab version of the human centipede. See, the guy on the top is alright, but the guy below him gets all his piss and shit, then this guy gets all their piss and shit, and it just repeats all the way down. It's just a big piss and shit hotel, kind of like the Hilton in Sydney. Alright, a lot of them seem quite stressed out, especially the 7 I bought from the Sydney fish market. And the conditions at the market really weren't great. The crabs were piled on top of each other in styrofoam boxes in a hot room, with lots of kids lined up to poke the crabs in the eyes. Plus they weren't eating and they were drying out, so I thought a bit of food might help them. So I cut up some salmon I speared into slices and gave it a go. And according to these Indonesian men online, I am meant to follow the American diet and feed them 10% of their body weight a day, which for most of the crabs is 80 grams. The equivalent of
10% of their body weight seems crazy. 1,000 grams is about 35 ounces, by the way, so it's almost a 2-pound crab. That's crazy.
me eating 9 kilos a day. So this guy grabbed it and started eating straight away, but the others weren't interested. But I thought they might be shy, so I turned off the lights and left them overnight.
Wakey, wakey.
And in the morning I was hoping to see the remaining food missing.
That guy didn't eat his food. Guy what? Yes, he is. That guy didn't eat his food. Oh my God.
But something else went missing.
Will the crabs escape?
A whole ass crab.
Bro, you lost a whole ass crab inside your garage. Where'd it go? How did it get out? Did you leave it open?
It must have squeezed out of this gap, which I should have closed.
How? He totally just crawled away. Where he can be. It's probably under here. There's a crab under No, he totally got out. He's in here. He's in here. Oh my God.
And I'm really lucky that I found the crab, and he didn't do the most obvious thing and slip under the garage door.
Strap a GoPro to a crab for this bit.
Crawl down the road, hop on a bus, and go to the RSPCA, where it reports me for crimes against crabs. Instead, it just sat next to the heater in the sump tank all night. So only 4 of the crabs ate their food. So I cleaned out all the gunk, which there's actually heaps of, and now my whole garage kind of smells like a fish shop. Okay, after letting them chill out for like 6 hours, I decided to feed them again. But I'm going to try something fancier to see if they like it. The same fish, but this time it's more stinky. And I really thought it would be easier to get mud crabs to eat, but some of them would only eat if I hold the food in front of their face for like...
Well, dude, they're probably very stressed, like, right? Like, that's what he said, right? They're stressed. I probably wouldn't eat if I'm stressed.
10 seconds and just wiggle it around. And more crabs ate their food, probably like 6 out of 10. All 3 from the creek are eating, but 4 of the market ones don't want to. And the market ones actually seem to hate food so much that they trick me into thinking they're going to eat it. Then when I look away, they just push the food into the corner. Especially this fat guy on the top, who hasn't touched his food at all and barely moves. Alright, the fish and piss smell was getting way too strong, so I turned on this fan, which I stole from a marijuana grow house, and tried feeding them again. But this time I'm gonna rub garlic on the fish, as I heard somewhere that they like the stinkiness. And as soon as I gave the fish to this guy, he started doing a handstand for some reason.
They do weird shit sometimes. Guy doing a handstand.
And by some miracle it worked, for every crab except the traumatized guy. But at least he is moving around a lot more. And you know, I'm already learning stuff about crabs that I didn't know. Like I had no idea that when they eat, the big claws just hold the food in front of their face, and then like a scene from a horror movie, 6 tiny little hands come out of their face and start ripping apart the food.
Creepy,
Which is
that's really fucking creepy. I had to like lean in to see that, but yeah, that's weird. 15 white mice, thank you for the follow. Welcome in.
very similar to how Americans eat.
Fucking excuse me, sir. American slander. I mean, we deserve it, but we don't need it right now, man. Kick us while we're down, why don't you?
And the piss smell just keeps getting worse. It's like a wet market in here. So I stole 200 litres from Sydney Harbour, sucked all
I
the
just want to comment on how more yellow this water looks than it did when he initially stole it out of the river. They're definitely just pissing up the place.
crab shit into my mouth. And then change the water. And I don't know if Sydney Harbour's water is the healthiest, as it's filled with microplastics and heavy metals. But if I'm already filled with microplastics, then I want the crabs to be as well.
Welcome in, thank you for the lyric, I hope you have fun.
And all the crabs seem to be getting much more lively, and they're attacking me every time I try to feed them. And I thought that after feeding them for 5 days, there would be a little bit more respect. But then again, I am keeping them captive in tiny drawers in a piss hotel, so maybe not. Okay, before we go any further with the mud crabs, let me tell you about the sponsor of today's video, Odoo. Managing these mud crabs is burning a hole in my productivity and would have been much easier if I used Odoo, an all-in-one business management software that provides entrepreneurs like me with a range of applications to simplify the day-to-day management of their business, including invoicing, accounting, project management, website creation, and more. Odoo keeps pace with your evolution, allowing you to add additional applications as you grow and your needs change. Let's say I need to pay a fishmonger for bringing me crab food. I can do this easily with Odoo, as Odoo's invoicing app allows you to manage and track your invoices electronically. It only takes a few seconds to create your first invoice, add your customer details, the products or services you're changing, along with the quantity, and then specify the payment and billing terms. Once a customer has received
$100 for my time, thank you. Please pay it as soon as possible.
Whatever
Thanks.
payment method suits them best. You can easily track the status of the invoice in Odoo's invoicing app and be notified when it goes from unpaid to paid. So go to my link in the description and get your first Odoo application free for life.
Oh, did he flood his garage? That'd be really funny.
Something went very wrong. I'm not sure if you can tell what, but there is meant to be water inside this tank and not just burnt heating filaments.
The ground has obviously been wet, and I don't know if you can tell, all this metal is rusty. How does my lathe get that rusty? Wet over here, wet over there. What over here?
What
What
broke?
happened?
And I'm guessing what happened was that either a crab or his food got stuck inside the water outlet and then the drawer filled up. And I say that because there is currently a piece of food stuck inside the water outlet.
One piece of meat gets stuck on the pipe. The whole garage floods.
Luckily, the crab somehow didn't die even after not having filtered water for 2 days. And there's a valuable lesson in this,
Why
kids.
are you not checking them every day? Fucking what?
Don't go away camping for 2 days and let your younger brother look after your mud crabs. So I stole some more water from the harbour and filled it back up, and then tried feeding them something different as a reward for almost killing them, and gave them liver, giblets, and a prawn. Prawn is for the traumatized guy that won't eat.
Doing it again. This time I've noticed.
And it's flooding again, and it's the same guy in the same tank. I reckon he is stuffing food in the pipe in an attempt to kill the other crabs so they stop pissing on him. Alright, I'm going to weigh one of the crabs to see if this is working at all. And this guy here was around 638 grams when I first weighed him. One of the smallest, so I hope he has gained some weight.
I bet he's lost.
What was his weight before? Oh, yes!
Oh,
640
I'm actually surprised.
to 740.
And at first I thought the weight gain was good, but he's only gained 100 grams. And considering I'm feeding all of them 2 60-gram pieces of fish a day, he hasn't even gained as much weight as a day's worth of food. So I'm not sure where all that weight is going. He must just be shitting it out. He does feel a lot more full though. And no, I'm not misgendering him. I looked at his penis.
Nice cock, dude.
And so far I've actually managed to keep food costs really low. I ran out of caught fish, but I've been feeding them Aussie salmon from the market, which is cheap at like $3 a kilo. And I've gone through like 6 kilos
that flashy light.
of meat, so that's around $25. But for the amount of weight they gained so far, definitely not worth it.
How do you keep
Alright, I
flooding
woke
your
up to
garage,
flooding
bro?
again, multiple times. So I need to come up with some way to stop that. At first I thought I'd make an overflow pipe on the drawers running down the side here, but that doesn't actually solve anything, as another piece of food can still get caught in that pipe, and also a pipe will mean I can't open the drawers. So I'm going to try the cheapest solution possible, theft. And I stole 10 of these adapters from Bunnings. And I reckon if I cut a bunch of slots in the side, which will create multiple points for the water to get through, even if the food blocks it, it should work. And look, this floating food can't get in the pipe. And the food floating is probably the main problem, but it doesn't matter. It flooded again, and I wish you could smell my garage right now. As when it flooded, it wasn't only water coming out of it, but crab shit and fish bits.
Smells just disgusting.
That smell's never coming out of that concrete. That shit's gonna stink for life. Every time it gets hot, it's gonna smell like fucking hot fish.
And now everything is just covered in a light layer of shit. It's disgusting. But I don't know what to do, so I'm just going to ignore it. Alright, I've been way too fixated on the crabs and keeping them alive, and I didn't pay much attention to the tank below them, until one day it flooded real bad, and that's when I noticed how much other stuff was living in the tank. And I've accidentally created a home for castaways. They must have been on the rocks or water that I stole. First we've got the snails, and to give you an indication of how crap the water in Sydney Harbour is, when I first add the water, they always run up the side of the tanks, but then settle back in. And we got this spirally guy, this weird guy, and a bunch of these black ones. And they clean the algae.
Admit that it's actually kind of cool. He accidentally created a fucking little environment inside of this stupid fucking tank. Unless he purposely planted them there. I don't know. Maybe I'm talking
but besides that, they aren't very useful. Besides being delicious. So maybe I can sell them to some French guys or something. Then we've also got these guys, and I'm not really sure what they are, but luckily I have a fish identification chart.
No. No.
Ah, circle fish. There's an anemone, which is always waving its arms around and trying to eat stuff, like these tiny crabs, which I'm not sure the species, but compared to mud crabs aren't very impressive, so I don't care. Then there's also these little fish. I counted like 6 to 8 of them, which I probably scooped up when doing water changes. And I'm not sure the species, but they're actually pretty beautiful and hang out in a gang under this rock, just chasing each other around and everything else in here. And they must be surviving on the food scraps that the crabs don't eat and mud crab poo. And it's pretty beautiful seeing everything live in peace and equilibrium in this tank when they were all brought together by an accident. And an anemone ate one of the fish.
Rest in peace, bozo.
Alright, when looking at the footage on the computer, I found something I didn't expect. I was sticking the camera under this rock to see where all the fish were hanging out, and I spotted something.
What is it?
And you can't see it that well, but there is definitely a well-camouflaged animal moving here. It might be like a slug or a snail, but it kind of looks like an octopus. So today's mission is to find out what it is. And I was moving rocks around for a couple of minutes and didn't find it, but then it appeared. There's a tiny octopus right there.
Brother, how?
I'm gonna try scoop him up.
Brother, how?
That is a blue ring octopus. That is definitely, that is a blue ring octopus. Come on, let me scoop you. Come on.
He had to have planted that in there, right? It's a really fucking cool looking octopus, though. Hi, Lockdown, welcome in.
Come on. Come on. I got it. I got it. I got it. I got it. Oh my god. That is a blue ring. That is a blue ring octopus.
But how?
It's tiny.
He's fucking Australian, bro. I don't think he could eat it. I'm pretty sure it would eat him instead. It's an Australian octopus.
Whoa.
It is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
And this is a blue ring octopus, one of the deadliest animals in Australia, capable of sucking off 20 men with a single bite.
Yo, me too. Blue ringed octopus is one of Australia's most venomous octopus. Like I said, it's a fucking Australian octopus. I was sure it would be fucking deadly.
Apparently they're poisonous as well. And this is insane. It must have been hiding in the rocks I collected, most likely this big cinder block, which means I easily could have put my hand on him and been bitten and killed. So I don't really want to leave him here, as I'm sure he doesn't appreciate the mud crab piss and poo. So I'm going to catch him and return him somewhere safe back in the ocean.
Brother, that's a dick move. We're getting naked, chat.
And here's something I didn't know about crabs. They like to take their clothes off, like frequent. It's called molting. And the smaller ones like this will remove their outer layer every couple of weeks to get bigger. Now when it first started happening, I thought the crab was
Paul Masher, thank you for the follow. Welcome in.
just dead. But then I came back to 2 crabs in the tank. And sadly I didn't capture the process on camera, but it's like another scene from a horror movie. It literally pulls its own face off and then they crawl out of their own body, leaving behind their eyes, gills, and mouth. And it's probably one of the dumbest evolutionary things I've ever seen. Firstly, they can barely move while they are molting. And then the process kills them some of the time. And then, if it does work, they come out with soft shells, making them perfect for a Malaysian man to eat. And the crabs really didn't consider this before evolving. Also, because these crabs are under a year old and technically minors without clothes on, I'm going to refrain from looking at them while they're molting. And this means the fattening process is working, and they are putting on weight, which is very good. Okay, I feel like an idiot for not knowing this, but the molting process is the most important thing for weight gain. So after this guy shed his shell, he was super hungry and was eating like 2 pieces of food a day and really fattened out, which makes sense, as obviously they can't gain weight, their shell is restricting them. So that's why they didn't gain that much weight before. I needed them to molt. And apparently, according to the internet, the juveniles molt 1 to 2 weeks, but mine are already pretty big, which explains why it took him so long to molt. But I'm still happy, as after molting in 10 days, he looks significantly bigger. But I'll find out his weight at the end.
That's a big boy. You guys see how big that crab was?
Everything is going really well. The depressed big guy at the top finally ate some food. And another crab I got from the creek molted. And the crabs from the market are still eating, but not as much. So maybe they are getting prepared to molt or something. I'm also having a lot of fun looking after them, ignoring how bad my garage smells. And I've kind of become obsessed. I really just want to see how big I can make these crabs now. Alright, I'm completely obsessed. I'm the crab guy now. All I talk and think about are my crabs. If someone comes over, the first thing I ask them is, hey, you want to see my crabs?
Hey, you want to see my crabs? It's a fucking crazy opener. Hell yeah. I'm glad your Christmas party was fun.
Come look at my crabs.
It smells so bad, dude. It's actually the whole house smells. Like someone did a poo inside a dead fish.
Fucking his whole house smells, he just said. Holy shit.
That's the worst thing. I can't even smell them anymore. It's only the other people that notice, which means I'm walking around probably smelling like a crab. And this process is still going really well. I've had all 3 of my crabs from the creek molt, but the market crabs still haven't. And that's either because the creek ones are just healthier or like taking their clothes off more. So I reckon I'm going to feed them for 1 more week to fill them up, and then I might sell them. Alright, I've had these crabs in my garage for 100 days now. And besides the constant piss smell, I kinda love it. They all have unique personality. For example, this one tries to bite me, and this one tries to bite me even more. And I've also learnt a lot about myself in the process. For example, that I like crabs. And I am slightly sad they have to go, but it's time to weigh them and sell them and get some money. And first up, we have the big lethargic guy whose initial weight was 1,077 grams. And after 3 months of work, I have gained a massive 76 grams.
That's
not good.
tragic.
Next, we have the feisty guy who was 759 grams, so I'm
Let go of the
hoping for a
bucket,
little
dude.
more, if I can get him to let go of the bucket.
It's funny that once they grab one thing, they don't let go. It seems kind of like a design flaw.
And he is now 861 grams, a gain of 102 grams. So far, I am not making much money.
You look at his little eyes. Look at his little eyes.
Okay, number 3 was originally 638 grams, the smallest, but he is molted and definitely looks much bigger, so I'm hopeful. And this is amazing. He has more than doubled in weight
That's
and is now
insane.
717 grams heavier. Okay, and then I'm skipping to the last guy who was 792 grams, but hasn't molted and still looks small. And he is 907 grams. So in total, we have gained 2,269 grams, which is not that much, but I don't know how much that is worth until we sell them. And if I take in all the other costs, $610 plus electricity for the filter and heater for 4 months, which is $150 plus my labor, I don't think I've made any money. Alright, I still haven't sold them. I keep delaying it as I feel a bit bad, but since I'm not legally allowed to release them back into the nature since I farm them now, which was a mistake I learned after my video called How Many Fish Does It Take to Pull a Boat, which I received a $3,000 fine, I've decided I'm going to keep 5 of them and sell the smallest 5.
He got fined for his fish video? His fish fucking pulled boat is crazy.
Which I'm not sure if I'm allowed to do, so I'm going to find someone who doesn't care. And selling them was actually a very stressful experience for me. Watching my babies being weighed, not knowing if I actually made any money or not. That went so much better than I thought it would. I got $576 for my 5 crabs. And this only happened as not only had the overall mud crab weight gone up by like 50%, but the price of mud crabs had more than doubled in the months I had them, going from $45 a kilo to $85 a kilo, which means the 5 mud crabs I sold were worth $300 more than the 7 I originally bought from the market. And this is something I really didn't consider in this experiment, was that mud crabs are actually a speculative asset, just like Bitcoin or gold. In fact, my mud crabs actually went up in price more than Bitcoin over the same period. So let's go over the cost. The original 7 crabs I bought, plus parts, foods, and electricity, was $960, not including my 3 months of labor. The profit on the 5 crabs I sold was $398. Even though this sounds good, if we subtract the profit from the costs, I'm still $562 in the hole. So this crab dinner was very expensive, but technically my crabs did go up in value. So should you make a mud crab farm in your garage? Probably not. For 3 months of work, you're definitely better off growing drugs. And I think the only reason those Indonesian men online can make it profitable is firstly because their labor costs are low. They also use cheap scrap fish, and most importantly, they know what they're doing. Thank you so much for watching. If you like that, please subscribe and check out some of my other stuff.
Thank you guys for watching. If you like content like this, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.